And we are back, season 2, episode 2. With me, as always, we have Luke. How you doing, Luke?
Hello.
How you doing, Sean?
Excellent.
And how are you doing, Brett?
I'm dynamite.
So,
How are you? How are you, mate?
Yeah.
Australian proverb. Yeah.
I'm fine. A little bit tired, but I'm fine. A couple of earlies and lates, but it is what it is.
Get pumped up.
Yeah, I'm good. All right. So what do we got to talk about this week? What do we got?
Well,
I think Sean's going to kick us off.
yeah, go on.
Yeah, go on.
So I was prompted to do this topic basically because there was some interesting news that came out in the Science Society this week, and that was we found a new moon for Neptune. I think this is Neptune's 62nd moon, and it was, does anyone know its name?
Frank.
No. It starts with a H, so you're
I was going to go with
close.
Frank, so I'm allowed now.
Whoever was closer than Frank.
Harry.
It's a hippocamp is its name.
Hippocamp.
Hippocamp.
That was my next guess.
It was you should have said it.
Yeah, right after Frank.
The regret. The
Natural
regret.
progression, yeah.
So yeah, in commemoration of such a weird finding, because you think most of that stuff's been discovered now. Apparently not. I wanted to fire off some education to you guys.
Fire it off.
Fire off. Like a couple of reverse curls.
Right down the barrel.
What Brett did before.
I did not do any reverse curls. I wish I'd done
He's been
reverse
doing
curls.
nothing but curls for
hammer
45
curls.
minutes.
You did hammer curls, not reverse
In
curls.
preparation.
It's just syntax.
He was the one that was begging us to get webcam videos so that he could just fire off those guns.
That's why he's wearing the shirt.
yeah.
I thought, okay, context. It's pretty humid in Perth today, so I
As you
thought
can
we
tell
would
from
all
the-
be wearing singlets. So
Just
I thought
you, mate.
It wouldn't be out of place, but that's fine.
All right, so let's start off with these fun facts. Number 1, the Apollo astronauts' footprints on the moon will probably stay there for the next 100 million years.
There's no wind on the moon.
That's right. There's no atmosphere. There's no wind, so there's no erosion, and there's no water to wash it away. The only thing that could possibly remove them is like being hit by meteors and whatnot. So like impact.
It's hardcore.
Yeah.
Or someone else having a walk.
That's like the ultimate riding in wet cement kind of prank, like how you do that on the pavement and like, oh, I'll leave my initials, but no, my
What if you read a
footprints are
little
on.
B or whatever next to his initials next to it?
Yeah, but like eventually that might get concreted back over, whereas this is just this is there forever.
Well, until like maybe, I don't know, some rival space company goes up there and it's like scuffs it all up.
Elon Musk, never happened.
Yeah. Well, actually, Mike, when we were off camera discussing, you actually had something on that. I don't know if you want to share.
Yeah, well, I don't remember the exact Reddit post that it was on, but basically somebody wants to bring in a law to prevent anyone from tampering with the original footsteps that Neil Armstrong and the other astronauts left.
Well,
Because there's currently no law that will preserve those. It's not against the law, rather.
Well, you'd expect it to be heritage, like moon heritage.
Exactly. So that's what they're trying to do. They're trying to
Do we have any
heritage list
proof that they're
footprints.
actually there in the first place?
Whoa.
I mean-
Okay.
There's so much. We are not starting this. We're not.
Conspiracy Theories episode 3.
Oh man, I'm so tilted just from even suggesting that.
I mean, I just need some hard proof.
I need to get my head back in there. So much hard proof.
I mean, have you heard of flat earthers? No.
yeah.
No.
I want to talk about in-depth flat earthers there, Luke?
I'm good. I'm so good.
It's such a touchy subject on this podcast. All right, so there's we know that we have a moon. We have a moon. We have a very large moon, 5th largest moon in the solar system. How many moons does Earth have?
One.
No,
because it would have it depends. What do you classify as a moon?
Something that orbits around Earth.
So satellites would then could be classified as a moon. They're not, but they revolve around the Earth.
I'm going to say 7.
7.
Just as a real wild guess. I have honestly no idea.
what? There's one moon.
Are you sure?
There's a major moon, but what are you counting?
Yeah.
Can it be satellites? Are they included?
Yeah. Okay, so the answer
Sounds like
is
300 or something.
The answer is indeed 1. All right.
Trick question.
Yeah.
Neptune has 60 what? And we've got 1.
So,
Pathetic.
Flat Earth.
There is a satellite called, I don't even know how to pronounce it, Kruthe or something like that. And it was long thought to be Earth's second moon. And that's basically because from the perspective on Earth, it has a horseshoe orbit. But when you actually track its orbit, it actually orbits the sun, not Earth. So for a long time, they thought it was a second moon. and it's just tiny. It's not even big enough to be considered a moon. It's just a satellite. And they thought, hang on, we've got 2 moons. But then it was disproven, and it actually goes around Earth.
How big does something have to be considered a moon? Because like if what was it, Neptune has however many moons it has.
62, 63, yeah.
That's how like
That sounds like one for the stat man to me. I don't know.
That's so many moons that like so many moons ago. So many moons that like there has to be tiny ones. That how do you classify that as a moon? It's basically just like a speck at that point.
Yeah, I've got no idea. That's actually a good question.
Yeah,
because-
Statman, you should get on that.
Is there any way you could see it from space?
See,
Sorry, you could see it from Earth.
yeah, well, that's how they discovered it. But like in the night sky with like the human eye,
Right.
is that what you mean?
Yeah.
I've got no idea.
Yeah.
I've got no idea. But definitely by telescope, that's how they would have tracked this thing. But yeah, so for I don't know for how long, but they thought Earth had a second moon and actually got the nickname Earth's second moon. So do we have a stat? Well, not a stat, a fact for the cutoff size for being a moon?
Well, okay, let me just read this paragraph. Known moons in our solar system range in size from Jupiter's giant satellite Ganymede, larger than the planet Mercury at 5,268 kilometers
Huge.
across, down to small bodies less than 10 kilometers across. So I don't know what the cutoff is, but 10 kilometers seems pretty small. I know that the rings of Saturn, you could count those little icicles as satellites, but you wouldn't call them a moon. So there is some sort of criteria, but I don't think it's well established.
All right.
Yeah, 10 kilometers is pretty small.
That's tiny. Yeah, okay. How can you even see that? I mean, I know 10 kilometers is massive, but when you're looking at something as far away as Saturn,
Yeah.
and you can see an object 10 kilometers in diameter, like orbiting it, and you can track that, that's insane.
Yeah.
Don't they use like the flickers and stuff like that of the actual light that a planet emits? They
Yeah,
can
the spectrum, yeah.
Yeah, they can see like, you know, if it blinks quickly or whatever, that obviously something has gone across the line of sight. And so if you look at tiny ones, maybe you can then track it from there. I don't know. I'm sure they have deep sonar sort of systems.
The
and things.
spectrum is more to see what the composition of the rock is,
okay.
rather than track its movement. But they do know, you're right, they use things like ultraviolet telescopes and whatnot, infrared telescopes, to track stuff that the human eye can't see. So it could be more visible that way. If it's emitting a certain light, then that would be a way. But yeah, Earth has one moon, and the other one revolves around the sun. Speaking of the sun, how many Earths can fit inside the sun?
I think I remember it being
Like a million.
It's not a bad guess at all.
I was really tempted to say 7 again. No, I'm just kidding. Say
'Cause the
5
sun's-
million.
The sun's fucking huge.
Yeah.
oh, it's not bad. It goes hard. I
How
always remember
hard?
it being to the power of something, but maybe that's too much.
Well, a million is to the power of...
But it was like to the power of like 4 or something, like
No, go higher.
10 to the power of 4. Power.
What,
10.
the answer is... Luke wins this one. 1,300,000 Earths can fit in the sun.
I am just flying on the space facts today, boys. Just
has
call
the
me.
pun flying as well.
You are on it. So yeah, the diameter of the sun is 109 times that of the Earth. It weighs something like 330,000 times more, and 1,300,000 Earths can fit in the sun. Now, who knows what the temperature is on Mars?
Hot.
No, isn't it really cold?
Yes.
Yeah, it's
Cold.
like isn't it something like negative like 80 degrees? Or?
About negative 70. Well, fun fact, we can check the weather on Mars right now.
Can we really?
Yeah. So what happened was, this was something else that came out this week. NASA's InSight lander is now relaying atmospheric conditions of Mars back to Earth. Scientists are using these daily weather reports to ensure that the readings from InSight's sensitive seismometer instruments are accurate and coming from below the Martian surface. So if I quickly go to Google weather on Mars, we'll get an answer. So according to NASA,
This is crazy.
yeah, mars.nasa.gov, it will tell us that the weather is 88? No, that's, no, the 80, no, that's the...
Fahrenheit.
That's the, that's the the 88th solar day. The high temperature is 10, that's Fahrenheit, minus 12 degrees Fahrenheit, and the low is minus 94. No, sorry, minus 12 degrees Celsius minus 94 degrees centigrade.
Bring a jacket.
Yeah,
I
it's
think
cold.
Negative 12 isn't that bad. Like, I mean, I've been. That's still obviously super cold, but I mean, I've been in negative 12 weather.
Yeah,
Pardon?
Where?
When we were in Budapest.
Was it negative 12 there?
Yeah.
Was it?
It got to like
Yes.
negative. It definitely got to like negative 9, negative 10.
Yeah.
So
Go
Stats, man.
Yeah.
On the job, I was there. I remember it. Budapest wasn't that cold, but Berlin was. Berlin was like minus. I think it was definitely minus 6.
5.
I don't know about minus
Yeah.
12.
Being in northern Japan, that was minus 15.
well,
wow.
when we were in Stockholm, it was
Yeah.
minus 25 or something.
Yeah.
Like, it was insanely cold.
Yeah, that was good. And I remember I have a fun story of
Yeah.
that with a friend of ours.
Yeah,
I may have hidden his beanie, and he was very sensitive. Apparently, he didn't realize that I hid it, and we went out walking, and he was really annoyed. And we came back, and as we were all warming up and everything, his ears almost looked like they had frostbite. They were so cold, but they didn't have frostbite. Looking back, it sounds really cruel. Yeah,
that was terrible. He
Yeah.
was so mad.
yeah.
And you were just like, you got pranked, bro.
But he was like, he's the most calm guy. So just seeing him just like bubbling away
Agitated.
under the skin, couldn't help myself.
How dare you?
Still hasn't forgiven me.
Hasn't he?
Nah, I saw him today, so he's fine.
Yeah, we'll bring it up at his wedding, I'm sure. Okay, so moving towards the outer edges of our solar system. Does everyone here know that Pluto has a heart?
What's
And
a
it was
heart?
broken when they
Yeah.
classified it.
Yeah. So the New Horizons, well, what would it be called? Spacecraft? I don't know. Not a spacecraft.
The satellite?
A probe? I don't know. It wasn't
Yeah.
a probe. It's not going to land. Anyway, it's called New Horizons. It made its journey towards Pluto, and it discovered a landscape essentially on Pluto that looked like a heart.
Oh, yeah.
And so now everyone's calling it the heart of Pluto. And so just to delve into it, its western lobe, so like the left side of the heart, I guess, a 1,000 kilometer wide plain of nitrogen and other ices lying within a basin. It's named Sputnik Planitia.
Of course it is.
Yeah. The eastern lobe consists of high albedo uplands thought to be coated by nitrogen transported through the atmosphere from Sputnik Planitia, then deposited as ice. Some of the nitrogen ice then returns to Sputnik Planitia via glacial flow. It is named after Clyde Tombaugh, the discoverer of Pluto. So if you look at an image of Pluto, it literally just looks like a little white planet with a sort of like dark heart. Well, not dark, but reddish heart.
it's pretty badass.
Yeah, it's just crazy coincidence.
I like I like Jupiter's sort of circle.
The
The
storm.
storm. That is amazing.
Yeah,
to
that's
me.
the coolest one.
Yeah.
Do you ever feel like Earth got kind of ripped off in terms of its name? like we live on Earth.
Didn't have a choice.
But you know what I mean? It doesn't sound that cool. Whereas I don't know, all the other planets kind of sound cool.
Yeah,
like,
aren't they Greek gods? All the other planets? Like,
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
Earth's name is Terra.
Terra. Yeah.
Terra.
Yeah.
That's okay. We should have gone by Terra. That sounds way
Terra.
cooler.
Sounds like terror. Like terror.
Yep. So
Terrible, like your joke. Like,
It just sounds like terror, which is not. I mean, I guess it's cooler than Earth.
yeah, like imagine if we were called Jupiter. I don't know, Neptune.
Yeah, but it's always cooler when it's somebody else's. You know.
could be Uranus, though.
It could be yours.
What is these terrible puns tonight?
Yeah.
I'm just going to move straight
yeah,
on.
let's do that.
All right. Did you know that there is a giant black hole hurtling through the solar system at 5 million miles per hour?
No, I didn't.
Is it anywhere near Uranus?
Boo.
Sorry, I couldn't help myself.
Mate.
What's it called?
I don't think it has a name. Well, it would have a name. I just don't have the name. But the Hubble telescope located the black hole in 2017 that is being manipulated by gravitational waves. The black hole, capable of devouring anything in its path, will eventually break free of its own galaxy and begin to roam the universe.
Holy shit.
Although the anomaly weighs as much as 1 billion suns and has reached speeds of roughly 5 million miles per hour, it is estimated to still be 8 billion light years from Earth.
So we got some time.
Yeah, about 8 billion
Yeah.
light years.
Yeah.
Even
What's the
still,
time?
like keeping how far away it is in mind, that's still kind of terrifying. That
Something like that exists.
something like that it
Yeah.
exists
Yeah.
and that it's moving at that pace and it's that size and it's just going to swallow whatever it's
The
in
fact,
its path whole.
yeah, the fact that it's moving at that size, at that pace, and still takes 8 billion light years to reach Earth. I mean, you can't fathom that
Well-
sort of size and mass.
Well, 8 billion light years is the distance. It would take light 8 billion years to make that distance up. We don't know which direction it's going in. It just says it's traveling through the
Yeah.
universe.
If it's traveling at 1 light year, then yeah, that speed. But
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if it's coming towards
Yeah.
us.
what's also terrifying is that we know very little about black holes and the composition. And
Yeah.
Yeah,
so
that's
brace.
hectic. And so my last fact...
What's the brace position again?
Brace for 8
Full fetal,
years.
yeah.
We'll be all right?
My last fact is probably my favorite fact. Who here wants to guess which planet has the largest volcano and the longest valley?
Is it Jupiter?
It is not.
Is it Mercury?
It is also not.
Okay, I'm not good at this.
So the highest peak and the lowest valley, so to speak.
Well, the longest valley, not
Oh,
lowest.
longest.
Yes.
I reckon longest valley's in Mars.
And highest volcano?
Well, is it
On the same planet, or
It can be.
this sly motherfucker.
Yeah, what the fuck? I don't know, because what's the matter? Because I know not all the planets are made up of the same matter Earth is. Because Venus is just a gas planet, right?
Yeah, so got a lot of gas.
Yeah.
So that you can rule that out.
So, the volcano. There has to be a solid on the planet for there to be a volcano, right?
I like your thinking.
Ah, yay. I don't know what other planets are solid apart from Earth and Mars.
Well, they all have somewhat of a core. They're not.
Right.
They're not just gases.
Oh, okay. Still going to go with Mars as the longest valley. I would have no idea about the volcano.
Is it a planet, or could it possibly be a moon around a planet?
It is a planet.
Okay. Yeah, I don't know. I'm just going to throw out Jupiter for whatever reason. I know it probably doesn't. But...
All right. Well, the answer is Mars for both.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Jeez, Luke went 3 from 3.
Yeah.
Well done, Luke. Well done, mate. I'm very proud of you.
It's a swoosh, yeah.
So Olympus Mons is the volcano. It is 602 miles across. The volcano is comparable to the size of Arizona. It's 25 kilometers high, triple the height of Mount Everest. So you have, that's just massive. So 602, that's 602 kilometers. That's from Perth to like Kalbarri, basically, in terms of length. Like that's just insanely big. And the valley, Valles Marineris, is 4,000 kilometers long. It's more than 10 times the length of the Grand Canyon. It's about as long as the USA.
Fuck.
That's
Wow.
just one valley.
Wow.
Yeah.
It's got some length.
That's Mars for you.
Once again, can't fathom, you just can't understand how big that actually is
Yeah.
to go for that long.
Hey, that's just insane. 4,000 kilometers across. That's what, Perth to Sydney? That's longer than Perth to Sydney if it's the length of the US.
Yeah,
That's
shit.
insane.
Yeah, crazy.
And then the volcano, 602 kilometers across, 25 kilometers high.
But I guess it's relative. It's a bigger planet.
No, it's not.
No?
No.
I thought Mars was bigger than
No.
it. Oh, well, fuck me.
What do you
Yeah.
reckon you could use a valley like that for?
Drag race.
Yeah, right? Just ultimate drag. You could break the land speed record.
I mean, so much room for activities.
Literally.
Well, if you enjoy flat ground, you couldn't play like paintball there.
Why not?
It's just flat. There's no terrain.
So you still got to hit the target.
All right. Yeah. Well, that's all for me. I hope you feel educated.
I do.
I hope you feel like you know a bit more about space.
Well, it apparently turns out I knew next to nothing about space.
Yeah, I
so
feel
I already
more
know a lot
dumb.
more. Yeah.
I feel more dumb because of the information I now know that I don't have.
Well, that works even better.
Yeah, making me feel dumb is not hard, but it's good. It's a good time. So I'm going to be talking about violence. It's just such a natural progression from Mars, or terror, as we were saying. All right, so I'm going to just talk a little bit about some of the different elements that make up violence. I've got a few questions at the end, and I've got a bit of a not really a story, but just sort of an excerpt from something I found online that I found interesting. Okay, so there are multiple different forms of violence, and the World Health Organization, I got there, divides it into 3 categories. So you have self-directed, interpersonal, and collective. So self-directed violence is what you consider suicidal or self-abuse. Collective violence is then subdivided into structural or economic. So the most destructive kind of collective violence would be warfare.
Wow.
And then you have interpersonal violence, which is divided into 2 subcategories. you would have family and intimate partner violence. A famous form of interpersonal violence would be, only because I've been watching it on Netflix, would be that of Ted Bundy, who was a mass murderer who lured young women into to rape, murder, and often perform, this is fucked up, acts of necrophilia.
Jeez.
Yeah. So, good job.
Does that count as violence?
I mean, to get to the point of necrophilia, I mean, you kind of have to be violent.
Does the act of necrophilia itself count as violence?
I mean,
I'm pretty sure it does.
If you're excluding the
Statman?
murdering of them, maybe.
Yes, I'm looking at the
Like just the act
in
itself.
isolation. Yeah,
So like you just say, for example, hypothetically, you're walking through the forest and you see someone dead on the floor, and then you start having sex with them.
Yeah.
Would that act be classified as violence? Well, it's still kind of a form, I guess, of rape. So yeah. Even though they're not alive,
yeah.
which means they don't have the ability to give consent. This is fucking weird.
Yeah.
Yeah, this is a rabbit
Statman,
hole.
This
do
is
you have
early
anything for
rabbit
us?
hole. Like
Yeah.
we just started the topic.
Entry level like necrophilia law. Like, right.
Statman got something for us?
I mean, I feel like it's more of a philosophical question than anything, but
Yeah.
I'll see what I can find.
Yeah. Is necrophilia violent?
No, it's definitely violent. It's more as a crime in itself.
What's a crime?
Yeah.
Well,
a crime.
is it
Well, I mean,
violent? It's definitely a
It's
crime.
100%
crime.
violent because, like, that's the way I see it. Is because you're basically like
You're
still,
raping a dead
Well, yeah,
body,
you're still
yeah.
raping someone. The fact that they're alive or not is kind of, I think, irrelevant. There's no permission,
Not really.
no consent.
If they're dead, they can't give consent. They physically cannot give consent. So are you doing it against their will when they no longer have will?
Yes.
Yeah. Well, it must. Therefore,
Because I feel like if it hasn't been given or not, then
Yeah.
it should always side with the not given.
Yeah. But if they're physically unable, because they're dead.
Yeah.
This is a roundabout
They're still
one.
unable, though.
Yeah, it's still
Yeah.
unable.
It's weird to me, but
are
yeah.
you supporting necrophilia? That's what it sounds like to me.
That's going to be the title of this podcast. All right, so violence cannot be attributed to a single factor. Obviously, its causes are complex and they occur at different levels. So violence, like all human behavior, is controlled by the brain. From everyday road rage to domestic violence to suicide bombing, the biology of anger and aggression is the root cause of most violent behavior. Viewing violence narrowly from the perspective of psychological dysfunction shirks the larger truth that the biological root of rage exists in everybody, which I cannot agree with more.
I actually just had a rage. I got a little pissed off at work the other day.
hell.
I won't get into it. It was just a miscommunication and it was my fault on my behalf. I just didn't hear properly and I just got super pissed off. And while no one was around in our basement, I just punched the fuck out of a box and it felt so good. Perfect. If anyone has a box full of clothes around, just punch it and make a massive hole in it and it feels amazing when you're pissed off.
So don't piss Luke off.
Good to know. Yeah. Thanks for warning us.
I mean, that's probably like level 1 of rage.
Yeah.
Oh,
But things like
Physical violence.
things like boxing and that are like amazing for that sort of stress relief, and but we'll get to that. So the leading risk of death throughout the prime of life is not disease; it's actually violence. If you survive into old age, you will most likely die from disease. But according to CDC statistics for deaths in the US for 2004, life ends at the hands of another human so frequently that from early childhood throughout middle age, homicide is the 3rd to 5th most common cause of death in all age brackets.
Yeah, I can't say I'm shocked, especially with the way their gun laws are sort of ruled.
Yeah.
Or not ruled.
Or not ruled,
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a
Like that sort of stat goes. Like there'd be a strong correlation between that and gun violence. Like,
Yeah.
well, gun use or whatever.
but it's their right.
Yeah,
It's their
but
right to bear arms.
surely like a war and whatnot kills more people from guns than American homicides, albeit they're well publicized and frequent.
I don't know. It depends, I suppose, on the period of time you look at.
Yeah, well, what period of time is
But that
it?
was just 1 year, 2014.
Oh, just 2014.
Yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
okay.
So that would, I mean, I don't have a stat for the amount that was in that 1 year, but in the US, it's not going to be a little amount.
Well, I mean, the Middle East was pretty hot then. ISIS was pretty rampant and whatnot.
Yeah, shit got violent. So the most important factor in violence is not pathology, psychology, or politics. It's actually biology. So 9 out of 10 people in prison for violent crime are men. Males die from homicide at 3 times the rate of women. When the victim is a spouse or intimate partner, women are murdered at 3.3 times the rate of men. That's insane.
Wow.
Males commit suicide at 4 times the rate of females. 4 times.
Yeah.
It's more pressures.
I don't know.
I wouldn't
if-
say
No, in what sense?
Well, I'm just thinking in Japanese culture.
Mm.
There's a lot of pressure on men and having a stable job.
I'd actually argue against that, only because I'd say there's probably more pressure on women. So I remember I was watching a lecture by a guy called John Peterson, and he said that, like, obviously he's a clinical psychologist and he deals with a lot of women trying to help up sort of goal setting for their future. And there's a lot of the research suggests that women mature a lot quicker than men, because if they want to have children, then they realize that they've got to have their career sorted by sort of 24, 25. So they're in a high enough position that they can afford to take time off by, let's say, 28, 29, when they may or may not be married, so that they can have kids when they're 30. So there's a lot of pressure to already have your life organized by the time you're 30, whereas for a lot of men, is they're not really sort of taking control of their life until they're 26, 27. Whereas
It's
women
because men can also, they don't have, like, it's as fucked up as it is, they don't have to stick around. Like, a woman has to, if she's pregnant, she has to have the baby.
Oh, she has to have the baby.
Yeah, the guy can just be like, see you later, as fucked up as it is.
No, but I know, but that's not the
No, but
point
that's-
Luke's making in terms of the pressure on
Yeah.
men or women, is what I'm saying is,
Yeah.
like, in that sense, that's one side of saying that women have more pressure in life than men.
It's fair enough, but then Brady just said the stats. What was it? 1 in 4. Sorry.
The rate,
For-
so males commit suicide at 4 times the rate
Yeah.
of females.
I mean that's a stat right there.
Oh, no, I know, but that's
I think
not necessarily, like,
Yeah, there's other
cohesive
things.
with pressure.
Yeah, there's
Yeah.
drug use,
You could also argue that it's the way the culture teaches men how to deal with their emotions.
Yeah,
And
spot
that's
on.
definitely a big issue. That
I
could
would
be
say that's probably the biggest
a
issue
large
in terms
contributor
of,
to that. you know,
that's why
that
stuff
stat.
like Beyond Blue and all that exists now to try to get men to talk about depression and whatnot.
But what the main aspect of this was actually saying was it's actually biological more than it is anything to do with society. It goes on to say violence and maleness is a biological fact that runs through the vast diversity of cultures and through our ancestral tree to other primates. So if you even look at monkeys and stuff, the males are more aggressive. It's a purely biological reaction to their environment and to survive. They are the providers and usually the more aggressive providers.
That's because there's a primitive instinct for the male to be the combator, the
yeah.
fighter.
the provider.
Yeah, that's why. That's
Yeah,
why
it's
that exists. That's why
Social
it's biological.
Darwinism. It's like survival of
Yeah.
the fittest.
But social Darwinism today. Social Darwinism today would be how society impacts the biological state, i.e., telling men to toughen up. That
Yeah.
would be social Darwinism, and therefore that leads to the change of biology, and higher suicide rates.
I would feel that, like, well, I kind of feel like, me, Luke, and Mike are the youngest of the 5 of us. But, like, I don't know, I definitely grew up with being told, like, in sort of any weak emotion state, like, toughen up was definitely a thing. But I would say that our generation was probably the last of it to be. It's sort of dying out, that mentality towards people in their teens now.
I think it's still there.
Oh, it's definitely still there. I think
just not as popular, yeah.
It's definitely slowly dying out.
Yeah. Well, we had the "Are you a man or a mouse?" all the time. What are you, a man or a mouse? You have to be the man. If you're scared of something.
It is more prevalent, but I think more people are willing to stand up to that than they would have before.
in our society.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, good point.
Because completely different in different parts of the world.
Yeah.
Also, as the only person with an older brother here, except for you, T, but your older brother is not that much older, 2 years?
2 years.
Yeah.
And in the same room.
And in the same room, yeah. So my older brother was 4 years older, so that's like a large enough gap that you can get dominated
Yeah.
by me.
Jesus Christ.
Whack.
It went the other way there with that one.
That was a curveball.
So we have neural circuits of rage and violence because we need them. I mean, again, from the whole primate aspect of things. As a species, we needed deadly violence to obtain food, protect ourselves, family, group. Unfortunately, we still need them today. Order in society, now this is a good one. Order in society is maintained through violence, believe it or not. Meted out methodically by police and nations according to laws that benefit society at large, but this organized violence is founded on the same neurocircuitry of aggression wired into the human brain of every individual. So that's kind of saying that like society is, I guess, organized, but still it's aggressively organized. It's the ways that we live. We are living in a certain way because people who are controlling these countries
Are making it hard for us.
or have gotten to their positions usually through violence, and like they control. It's still, they're saying that they still control via violence in many formats. It doesn't have to necessarily be physical violence. It can be emotional trauma, or it
Yeah.
can be manipulations and things like that.
I think in Western culture, we're turning away from that.
Oh, for sure.
Like 2,000 years ago, no worries. Like, or even less, 100 years ago, kill the president to become the president or whatever.
Yeah.
President's a bad example, but yeah, you know what I mean.
President of Rome. But no, I know what you mean.
Yeah.
You kind of, to become the best, you have to beat the best, so to speak.
Yeah, well, I know in Japan in World War II, they called it like leadership by assassination,
It's crazy.
basically. No, that was, 1940s.
I'd be permanently on edge. Hey, imagine if you happen to
Yeah.
knock off like the head honcho and you're just like, oh yeah, I'm in charge. But it's like, for how long?
Yeah.
I'd be
wouldn't
sleeping
even-
with a gun on my pillow.
I wouldn't bother. I'm cool being, just
Yeah,
a
like
peasant.
fifth in line. Yeah, I'm okay.
Yeah.
Oh, fun fact on that actually. So back 2,000 years ago, the emperor of or the king or whatever of Pontus, which is like
President.
yeah. No, emperor, more powerful.
El Presidente.
So Pontus was a land like the north of Turkey sort of area. Okay, and the Romans were coming in to take their land. Pompey the Great, one of the most famous figures of all time, was going in to invade Pontus to take the land for himself. And the emperor of Pontus was so famous for poisoning people and he was so paranoid he would start microdosing. Spin off to season one. To build up his immunity because he was scared he was going to get poisoned. And then eventually the Romans came in and he tried to poison himself and he just wouldn't die. He built up an immunity to poison.
What?
Yeah.
Couldn't kill himself.
No.
Fuck.
How did he know how to do that though? How to microdose like that?
I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
Just testing on a lot of peasants.
Maybe it's just
how much
part
can
of
they handle?
Maybe it's just part of the story because he was a bit of a psychopath, this guy. Maybe they just said that to build him up. I don't know, but that's how the story goes. The old tale of the guy I can't remember his name.
President. Apparently Trump would do that. So we've got between 2016 and 17, this one gets a little bit more local. The number of homicide victims across Australia actually decreased from 2016 to 17 from 453 to 414. So down 39 victims or 9%. It's quite a lot.
That's a good drop.
Yeah.
Across Australia in 1 year, 10% drop in homicide. The murder victimization rate was 0.8%. Between 90 and 2013-14, the national homicide rate decreased 1.8 per 100,000 people to 1 per 100,000 people. So that's a huge drop in, 30 or 20 odd years. So that's kind of saying that as far as, violence and homicide goes, the rates are dropping significantly in Australia. But my first question is, do you think Australia has a problem with violence?
Yes. Australia has a well-publicised problem, maybe not necessarily with homicides or murders through violence, but there is definitely not necessarily a gang mentality, but a physical mentality. You have to, you get into fights. They're so popular that you go through, nightlife areas, and if someone looks you in the eye the wrong way, well, that's it. They're just going to come at you.
Speaking from experience here, Sean? Or?
A bit, yeah. A little bit. Yeah.
Don't get on the wrong side.
We've been the victim of an attack. Me, my brother, another friend, and our cousin were the victim of an attack. Basically, we were just walking home, and these dudes just came out of nowhere and came after us.
Yeah.
We wound up with black eyes and stuff. Well, lucky none of them had knives.
Yeah.
There was a murder on that street a month or two later.
Wow.
Yeah. This was just down the road from my parents' place.
Yeah.
So no, we were very lucky that didn't get worse.
I just don't like the whole get drunk, like in Australia, get drunk and start fights thing. It's in an AC/DC song. No, is it AC/DC where they're wanting to start fights and shit?
Probably. Shit
Yeah.
band.
Is that verbatim? Wanting to start fights and shit?
Pretty much, yeah. Go to the pub. Go to the pub and start a fight and shit. And I don't know. I just cringe because you look at European drinking culture and there's no violence in that. It's literally just, everyone goes to the bar or
It's a
club.
cultural thing.
Yeah, and no one knows everyone knows rather to not act out of line and, just go and drink and have a good time. There's no temper involved in that at all.
Do you think that potentially is because we have laws where you can't drink until you're 18, and so people kind of go nuts when they turn 18, even though they drink before
Nah.
that? Whereas in Europe, you can drink younger, and it's more introduced at a younger age. It's more normal.
But is the legal drinking age in Europe actually lower? Isn't
Yeah,
it
16 in most
16?
countries, yeah.
But even still, I feel like in Europe, they drink because they enjoy alcohol and they know how to do it. Even though they get as hammered as, I guess, Australians do, they drink to enjoy it.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Whereas
but you-
I feel like people are like, oh, you know what? It's Saturday night. I'm going to just get loaded.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Don't
but
even care what it is.
you're talking mainland Europe there. If you look at like England, Scotland, there's as many bar fights as in Australia.
Of
Not
course.
more.
Yeah,
Yeah,
so
England, yeah.
yeah, so it just depends where you are. Maybe it's because Australians are descendant from the Brits and generally, and that's what's causing the problem.
Yeah, but I would say like maybe in like certain parts of, we'll say like England and whatever are there, but I feel like all over Australia is get drunk and start a fight or be aggressive. I mean, I don't feel that safe when we go out in the city here.
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
Yeah, a lot of the time it's just not worth the hassle, is it? You're just like, I'll go into the city. Yeah, I'd love to go to this place. Don't want to get stabbed or anything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that's why a lot of, they had the lockout laws in Sydney as well, because they just couldn't take it anymore. They couldn't take all the fights and stuff that were happening at these bars. They needed to just stop it after a certain point because people were getting too drunk.
And they ironically made it worse because then the lockout laws happened and everyone's
Yeah.
out on the street
Yeah.
at 1 a.m. and they're pissed because they're pissed from the alcohol and they're pissed they can't get back
Because
into
they're
the
nights
club.
over, yeah.
And so you've got, like thousands of people.
Fuck
Like,
it, let's fight.
yeah, pretty much though.
Yeah.
They did like a survey or like they checked the statistics and I think that there was like something like a 5 to 10% rise in, we'll just say crime as like an overall umbrella on what happened in Sydney.
It's a shame as well because Sydney has a really good nightlife as well.
And it's died now.
Yeah, not anymore. Yeah.
All the festivals have died or are dying and yeah.
Shit. All right, question number 2. This is not, I'll ask specifically to you, Sean, and then we'll go each person. Would you consider yourself a violent person?
no, definitely not.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't have it in me to. I don't know. I'm just not a good fighter. I guess I don't know. I can be loud and verbally aggressive. I guess that can be a form of violence, but I'm not aggressive in an insulting way. Like I'll have banter, loud, aggressive banter with you guys, but I won't, necessarily take it home. And if it ever comes out, it's only ever reactive because I've been pushed. But it rarely gets to that. Yeah.
Luke?
No, I don't believe I am. There's been maybe times when I was younger and I got really pissed off in certain situations and I became violent. But from those experiences, I learned that that's not something you should do.
Have either of you, and then I'll get to you, Brett. Don't worry about that.
No, that's okay.
Have either of you ever punched someone?
Yeah, in year 8
Yeah.
at high school. What about you, Sean?
I've never, not that I know of, correct me if I'm wrong, Mike, but I don't recall ever punching someone. Even when we got into that fight that time on the street, I didn't even throw any punches.
That's the thing as well. Sometimes retaliation equals more violence.
Yeah.
So it's weird.
You want to jump in there, Mike?
I mean, nah, you did Taekwondo as a kid. That's probably about it.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's more about self-defense than
That is
anything.
self-defense, yeah.
Brett, would you consider yourself a violent person?
No.
And there is no judgment here.
No,
'cause
like,
everybody has.
I'm
this part
genuinely
of them.
thinking about it.
Yeah.
I don't think so.
Yeah.
I can get fired up, but I wouldn't lash out at someone. I've never hit anyone, like punched anyone. I've been punched.
Yeah.
It sucks, right?
It was just a weird scenario. Like it
Yeah.
didn't hurt that much. I think I was in like year 9. I don't think anyone's super strong in year 9, but yeah, I don't know. I get pretty fired up when I'm driving on the freeway and people are doing 20 k's under.
Yeah.
But I
No
think
one sees that.
no one sees that. But like, I guess if someone's like, we'll say, having a go at me, like I have no qualms about telling them to fuck off
Yeah.
in maybe an aggressive manner, but I wouldn't lash out and punch them.
Yeah. See, mine, I would not consider myself violent, but I probably would, in certain circumstances, consider myself aggressive. But like, for example, being able to channel aggression, say at the gym or something, I feel like you can actually use and utilize aggression and take stress and aggression out. I feel like that's a good thing. I feel like everybody has maybe not violence but aggression inside of them, but everybody finds their own outlets to deal with it. And it's people who don't have maybe an outlet that sort of it builds up, and then violence. I think aggression becomes violence, so to speak. So if you don't have that outlet, then you become violent.
Yeah, well, we've all been a little bit aggressive on the footy pitch, or playing soccer. We've all put in a late tackle or whatever and gotten a yellow card, but it's never gone further than that.
Yeah,
and that's the extent of it when you're pushed to the limit at the game.
Yeah,
Yeah, I don't think we've ever overstepped the boundaries.
No, never.
I mean,
No.
like obviously there's the thing, white line fever, where you step on to the pitch or whatever, and you just, I don't know, you're red with rage kind of thing. Yeah.
Frustration though, because you're
course,
losing and stuff.
Things don't go your way.
Yeah.
But frustration, I'd say, well, obviously we all get frustrated. That's natural. But yeah.
But
and
like,
that leads to aggression, but not always violence.
Yeah.
I think
That's a good way to put it, I think.
Yeah, there's a big difference between aggression and violence. And so if you can deal with aggression, you don't become violent. But if you can't, I think you become violent.
well said.
That reminded me, actually, when I asked you if you'd ever punched someone, didn't I hit you in the face?
Yes.
But not punch. It was like the back of my hand because I was really annoyed at you and we were drunk. And,
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. Sorry about that.
It's all right.
Apologies about 10 years late.
I'm expecting to get like KO'd when I walk out the front door.
Oh,
Now.
that's right. T and I had a friend of ours headbutt us because he'd had a few too many beers. It wasn't super hard, but
Yeah. Any reason or just like
he was
have a look at this.
just pretty loose on the night.
Jeez. If it makes you feel any better, I've been like hit. I went to a party when I was young, and I was standing out, waiting to get picked up, standing out the front, and a guy ran from behind me, swang from behind, and
Swung.
Nah, he full on swang.
He swang, man.
Swang.
He swang on me. That's how hard it was. Yeah, so I'm going with it. Swang. Around the side and split open my eye and everything.
Fuck.
And then he just ran up the street. He just ran, and
Left the stove on. Yeah.
I was standing there just dumbfounded. I had no idea who that guy was. I had never spoken to him, and it was a dress-up party. And I have a feeling that he took offense. I was dressed as a clown. I feel like he was just like, I get told a lot that I have a cheeky face.
Oh, you do?
Yeah, and I think he just didn't like the way I looked and just had a swing. And then I went inside and got cleaned up, and I was asking people, who was that? Oh, that was so-and-so's friend. And like, why'd he hit me? I don't know. Cool.
Was that when that clowning thing was really big, where people just stand on the side of the road and?
Oh, wow.
That I understand.
I forgot about that. That was fucking creepy, man.
Was it during that, or was it
No, this was when I was like
way before?
15 or something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Alright.
That was terrifying.
Yeah.
I used to follow I hate clowns. They scare the shit out of me. I
It was
following,
you, wasn't it?
No. I was following like 3 pages when that whole trend was going, and it was doing updates on where that clowns were being spotted. And I remember there was once I had to go out, and it was like within 200 meters of me, and I was shitting myself.
All right, so that is the end of violence, and hopefully, next week I can come up with something similarly fascinating. I thought it was interesting. What do we have next, Luke?
Well,
Alrighty.
Oh, it's Brett.
Yeah, it's on me.
That's not the first time you've ignored
Yeah, no.
Brett.
Let's get violent, Brett. It's
Yeah,
because you
right.
punched me at that party.
I did not punch you. I never punched a man. All right, I've got a question
punched
for you
a
guys. No, of course not.
Oh, you said I've never punched a man. He left the
Yeah.
door open.
Sorry.
I just wanted to
Yeah, no.
close
I've never
that
punched
door.
anyone. Thank you, Sean.
Equal rights and equal lefts.
Wow. Okay, so just a quick question. Going around, starting with Brady. Did you grow up idolizing any sports stars? And if so, who?
Yeah, but like a lot, like almost.
Just let's fire off
Honestly,
one or two.
one of them, David Wirapunda, was a huge sporting idol of mine, AFL player. Other than that, Glenn Jakovic, a lot of AFL players.
Yep.
Yeah.
Luke?
Adam Gilchrist.
Cool. Sean? Anyone?
The first one that springs to mind is Harry Kuehl.
Oh,
Harry
yeah.
Kuehl?
All different sports, right there.
Yeah. T, what about you?
Do you like tennis or something, T?
Yeah, badminton.
Henry Wu.
Lee Zhao Sun.
Nadal, man. Me and Nadal, man. Biggest fan.
Poor
love
man's
love
Federer.
tennis.
Poor man's Federer.
No, it would have been like, who was it, T?
Yeah, when
was
you're a
it?
kid. Nadal's not like 48
Michael Jordan.
Oh, yeah,
John?
of course. Yeah, of
with the
course.
tennis shoes. Yeah.
Yeah.
Another sport though.
So I guess okay, myself like definitely grew up idolizing like people like we'll say Ben Cousins from the Eagles. So I guess the reason I brought it up is I always find it ironic that people of some sort of caliber in certain sports are sort of put on a pedestal and seen as role models in the public, right? And I did a lot of research during the week and looked up sort of the link between sports stars and crimes and I guess falls from grace and sort of I guess it's ironic that they're seen or put in the spotlight and held at such a high regard and then they're actually shocking role models only because they're good at doing a certain skill and there's nothing against that skill, but obviously take Ben Cousins for example.
He's never done anything wrong. You
Never
stop
done
right
anything
there.
wrong. He's an angel. Yeah. Like doesn't even, play for a team I support, but I mean, champion player and then obviously heavily into drugs and jail time and abusive partner and all that jazz. And yeah, so, like I was looking through the sports and one of the biggest sports in terms of criminals was obviously soccer or football for, everything from like,
Tax fraud.
Yeah, it's
fraud,
always like white collar crimes.
fraud, assault, rape, betting stuff,
Sexual assault.
What's the guy? Adam. He played for Sunderland.
Adam Johnson.
Adam
Yeah.
Johnson.
Yeah.
What was he done?
Underage.
Basically pedophilia.
Yeah, that's right. Yep, he got-
Grooming.
Yeah,
That's
children,
right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's just astounding, I guess, that people. Yeah, I don't know. It kind of freaked me out when you think about like you grow up looking at these people like you want to grow up to be them, and they're just people, but like we only hold them in a high regard because they're good at something. And yeah, I guess I was looking. I was talking to someone today about this topic, and he was like, "Oh, he goes, I actually feel so strongly about this," and I was like, "Oh, how so?" And he goes, "Oh, I hated that Brett Lee used to be the Weet-Bix kid."
Really?
Yeah, and I was like, "Why is that?" And he goes, "Because he used to be like, how many do you do?" As if challenging people just to eat crazy amounts of.
It's a good marketing ploy.
Yeah.
But that's what I mean,
Yeah.
right? So like, it's eating like Weet-Bix aren't a healthy breakfast, but like it's just like how many do you do? Just eat like a crazy amount of like
40.
wheat. And
Take it on.
And it was funny because I'd never thought of it like that. Obviously, they have so much power. You see football and soccer players promote Gatorade, which is totally unnecessary. But like, you walk around at any sporting ground and you can guarantee all kids are having a Gatorade after a game. I don't know. Do you guys have any thoughts on that?
I was just going to say, it's one of those things that they say, never meet your heroes.
Really?
Yeah. It's very popular.
Yeah, because apparently not apparently, but they always let you down, so to speak. They're never that person you build them up to be in your head.
Yeah. With Gatorade though, that is a sports drink. Like it's good for replacing hydrolytes after doing sport.
Yeah, but you heard of water?
Yeah, but there's it's okay to have after you do
it's
sport.
Well, yeah, of course, but
Yeah.
like not when you're less than if you're 15 and younger, like it's so irrelevant.
yeah.
Went for a
Of
3-minute
course.
jog, I'm going to smash
Yeah, like
Gatorade.
you see these kids like who are 12 playing a game of footy, and
Yeah.
then they're smashing Gatorade. Like they're not working so hard that they need to replenish anything that isn't.
Probably better than a can of Coke or whatever, though.
Of course,
Yeah.
it's, do you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, no, it's a fair point.
Yeah, it's just a marketing ploy.
Yeah, and drinking sports drinks when you're not actually playing sport is bad. But they're sold everywhere.
Of
Places
course.
where, in supermarkets where no one would be playing sport or anything like that. People can just consume them whenever the.
Never played sport. And
No, I mean like near a sporting. Shut up, T. I can see you laughing. I mean just like near somewhere where you would play sports. Catch my
So
drift.
they can replace your hydrolytes, as you put it.
not electrolytes.
Yeah, not electrolyte.
Pick up on that.
Look, I heard it. I just was like, I'm just gonna let it
Yeah.
go. I'm not gonna get into
Should
it.
have said something. I'm here to learn, and
Barocca.
that did me no favor.
Yeah, have a Barocca after a game.
running low on Barocca. I'm actually get a Gatorade. Legit, the best Gatorade I ever had was after the Foo Fighters concert. I needed
yes, that was a
electrolytes
good
after
Gatorade.
that. Yeah,
Yes,
that
it
was
was.
an excellent Gatorade.
Excellent.
Hit
Good
the
to hear.
spot.
But yeah, I mean, and coming back to the Brett Lee doing Weet-Bix.
How many do you do,
thing.
Luke?
What's the record? Luke?
Well, the record's 24.
No.
Yeah.
In one sitting.
And
in
who
one
holds
sitting.
that, Luke?
Me.
And how many did your partner in crime, Simone, get?
She did 25.
Oh!
No. Okay, but she threw up afterwards.
Yeah.
I didn't.
Oh,
So who's the
counts.
real winner, huh?
But still counts. I reckon it still counts.
Yeah, still counts. It was so impressive. I was
How?
there. Oh,
Fair enough.
No. If you can't hold it down, it doesn't count.
Yeah, it doesn't count if you can't hold it down.
Stats man.
How long
Look,
did she hold it down for?
This is the, for
That's
like
bad coming through.
5 seconds.
Okay, then.
oh, bullshit. Longer than that. She made it inside.
Yeah. To run
How
straight
did-
to the toilet.
Where did she find the room?
It was a competition. We were just eating, like, see how many we could eat.
How
at
much
the same
milk
time.
did you use?
I can't remember.
A lot of milk.
I cannot
yeah.
remember, but yeah, fair bit. But like, if I used to eat like 10 for breakfast, but now I've cut that back to like 6.
Still heaps.
Nah, because Brett Lee did like 9.
Yeah.
Exactly, but you know what I mean? That's the power of marketing.
Yeah,
right? Like
but-
I couldn't give a fuck how many Brett Lee has for breakfast. But, like,
Does 9 and then goes out and wins the Olympics or whatever.
and then smashes a Gatorade.
Yeah.
But the statement of like how many do you do? Like you don't necessarily have to like beat the other person in doing
No,
more.
I know,
You just
but
have to state how many do you do. You know?
That flamboyantly.
I know.
You do.
But like, obviously, that's just one example and one product.
Yeah.
But let's say Steve Smith and David Warner, who got done with Cameron Bancroft for the
Yeah.
ball tampering saga. So he was the face of Sanitarium. So obviously a pretty high profile guy, and he lost, I think it was reported, close to $7 million in sponsorships in that year that he was banned because he was stripped of his Sanitarium endorsement, and plus all of his cricket, like Australia endorsements, and then all of his associated cricket branding
They
endorsements.
pay up. They pay up.
Oh man, to be a cricketer, like to be a professional cricketer on your nationality sort of squad, it's over $500,000 a year.
Yeah.
Oh man, imagine like,
And that's paying for no gear.
yeah, if it's 7 million in endorsements for a top Aussie, imagine how much a top Indian cricketer would earn. It would be like
And they get treated as
10
royalty.
times
Yeah.
that. Oh,
Oh
dude,
god, it's a religion. Oh,
Virat
man.
Kohli must be like he must be one of the highest paid athletes in the world.
I think he's up there. Yeah.
He would be up there.
With like Messi and Ronaldo.
Yeah, the entire he is a god in India.
Especially when you consider like cricket versus like the money in cricket versus the money in football.
Shouldn't be even close.
No, it isn't.
Oh,
Obviously,
yeah.
that's
I
what I'm
thought you were
saying.
saying.
It's
I was
not
like,
close, but
okay.
like that's how well Virat Kohli's paid.
The money for cricket in India specifically would be
Yeah.
up there. Well, I would say the richest Indians all love cricket. They all own like the 2020 teams, whatever it is over there.
Yeah, the IPL.
Yeah, that. Yeah, and these guys are cashed up. They are cashed up. They could own Premier League clubs if they wanted to. They've got enough money. Like you're looking at me like really blank.
No, I'm just thinking about that.
Processing
I'm like, why don't they? But I suppose their interests are elsewhere.
I wonder if with all that money they have
cricket.
all that power and then maybe all that aggression. And
Turns into violence.
turns into
I'd
violence.
say yes.
Maybe food for thought as we go into mailbag.
Well, we don't have a mailbag.
We don't have a mailbag.
No, we don't have a mailbag.
Do you have a cool or not cool?
Oh,
gonna get
actually,
violent.
I do have a mailbag. I have someone did mention.
Hang on. Are you done with your topic? Or?
Yeah, I'm done.
Are
You're
ya?
done. All right. Well, let me get the mailbag.
I want to ask Luke why he couldn't do a 25th Wheat Bix.
Because I did the 24th one and I was literally just like, look, there is no way I'm going to eat anything more because my stomach by that point was just.
You weren't feeling that after the 23rd?
Should have channeled your Brett
no,
Lee,
because when I finished my 24th, she was on 21 and I was like, all right, you've got to eat like
Oh, yeah.
4 more Wheat Bix to beat me. Like that's the goal. Just try and do it. Look, she threw up. Okay. She threw up.
Yeah.
And I just feel like
Getting very aggressive.
Yeah, it's going to become violent pretty soon.
well, here's the fucking mailbag.
Listening to the mailbag.
You're not going home to her, right?
Brat, go.
So, in relation to our the rock music and whether it's dead or alive, I had someone say to me, they couldn't believe that we didn't mention Nick Cave in the conversation. And
Yeah.
I mean, look, I never really listened to Nick Cave, and I think he's one of the ugliest people
Oh,
ever.
yeah, he looks like
he's
a-
just
Looks like a broomstick.
okay. I've never heard that one.
Yeah.
And
Why was that?
so her point, shout out to Jules if you're listening, is that he's been relevant for like a number of years now, like across a bunch of different, we'll say decades. I mean, he's been around 30 years.
Yeah, wow,
probably.
yeah.
He's been relevant in an indie sense, but
Yeah, he's not rock at all in my
well, yeah, I'd consider him like an indie
cult figure.
artist. Yeah, completely independent.
Yeah.
I I would never consider him a pop artist, and I don't think I've ever seen a Nick Cave song in the pop charts across.
Oh, maybe
Maybe that one he
latest
did do
album.
one with
With
Kylie
Kylie
Minogue.
Minogue,
I
yeah.
can't think what it's called.
Yeah.
It's really creepy though.
Yeah. That's his vibe though.
Yeah,
that's
he's
what
an
he does.
eerie guy.
Creepy,
Yeah.
creepy is his vibe.
He's
Yeah.
Bordering on violent.
and he
Alright.
writes really good lyrics. He's a really good
Yeah.
songwriter. Regardless, I think that point.
Just thought I'd throw it
wasn't-
out there.
Yeah. It wasn't the context of what I was on about though. Like,
Yeah.
it none of his songs have been relevant in the pop charts for the past like 10 years or so. So
Yeah, he revels in being sort of cult, in my
Yeah.
opinion. That's
Yeah,
why
he's definitely cult.
He's king of cult.
So thanks for your comment, Jules. But
You're wrong.
I'd be happy to discuss that more with you. I absolutely would. But yeah,
Over
I
a
don't
couple of
I don't
weeks,
agree.
or-
Over a couple of
How many
just
do you
24
do,
week
Jules?
weeks.
26.
Yeah.
And she kept it down.
Oh,
Case closed on that. I just wanted to point something out, and we have
Yeah.
a little prop here. This is like a physical mailbag from a a friend of the show. It happens to be a beer can. We'll try and get a nice close up here. I cannot see the. Yep,
I think that's probably the best you can get it.
Garage Project. This beer is called Acid Test. So shout out to Garage Project.
Oh God.
Hit us up with some electric dry hop acid test beer, and we'll shill it for you.
and we'll what for you?
We'll shill it.
Chill it.
Yeah.
Okay, yes we will.
All right.
All right, time for cool or not cool.
Oh, it's one of my favorite segments.
Cool or not cool?
I love cool or not cool. I don't know why.
We only have 2 segments.
Well,
It's one of his favorite. He's not wrong.
I kind of like count the actual topics as segments as well. So
Ah,
I
Yeah.
just love cool or not cool.
All right. They're a bit, let's say, eclectic this
Oh
week.
god, more so than usual.
Yeah, more so than usual. We're going to jump straight in. Number 1, cool or not cool? Pickles.
Not cool. Every
week.
Every week. Yeah.
Not cool.
All right. Sliced pickles. Cool. Whole pickles. Not cool.
So, but either way, it's a pickle.
Yeah. Same as like. All right. Same as like.
slice the whole one and make it cool.
Yeah, I could do that. But same with tomatoes, right? I don't mind diced tomatoes, but like a slice of tomatoes. No thanks.
Love
Anyways,
the logic. Yeah,
Sean.
Sean.
Yeah, not the usual answer from me. Not cool.
Not cool. Yeah.
Yeah, not cool.
Not cool. Pickles are cool as fuck. I love pickles. So yeah, fuck me, I guess.
Yep.
Number 2, cool or not cool? I'm really hoping this is one-sided. The Kardashians.
Cool.
Oh, you.
They're the epitome of cool. They're the epitome of culture at the moment, and just got to admit that.
Just the groans coming from within.
If they're the epitome of culture, then that is not cool.
Yeah.
The Kardashians are themselves also not cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, super cool. They are like, we'll include the Jenner girls in this, but they're the 5 best businesswomen on the planet, easily.
Oh yeah, no.
They
doubt.
are cool. They are super fun cool.
I think they're not cool at all.
Why?
Just because of what they represent is
What
not
do they represent?
Yeah, what do they represent? I'd love to challenge you on this.
Materialistic ideologies.
Yeah, and like basically not. I mean, the only person in that whole posse I would respect would be either the mum, who is like obviously an incredible businesswoman because she has forged this whole family out of what, being the husband of someone who was the lawyer for O.J. Simpson trial or something like that.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
the mum, Chris,
Yeah.
Chris Kardashian, her husband, was OJ's lawyer.
Yeah.
But they're just really relatable, and that's why they're so popular. Is like why they've been popular
How
for
are
so
they
long.
relatable? I don't have fake fucking face. And
Yeah,
like,
but no,
I mean,
but
I got big ass.
Have you
Lamborghini.
watched the show?
No, I value my time.
Yeah, but if you watch the show, you could just see like why they're like entertaining and
Yeah.
like just their little quirks and stuff, and
They're just
that
normal
people
people.
relate with
They're
that.
just normal people.
And you know they have.
How are they normal?
How are they
Have
not?
you seen them?
They're multi-millionaires.
How are
like-
they not normal?
Because one, they're obviously in an elite class of people, which is the furthest thing from normal there is. They're acting normal whilst being multi-millionaires, which is not normal inherently. 2, they don't even like to be normal. You have to relate to normal people, and how can they relate when they don't socialize with normal people?
You don't know that. You don't know who they socialize with, though.
You telling me that the
No, but, like-
Kardashians hang out with just like Frank down the road and grab a beer?
You don't know
Just
that.
watch your aggression there,
Yeah,
Brady.
I'm about to get violent.
Yeah.
Frank Hippocamp, the entire lot.
Well, let's move on because we could keep. This
Yeah.
going for
We should
ages.
cover the Kardashians.
I'm glad we all agree that they suck dick.
We don't.
Number 3, Pilates.
Cool, because I liken it to yoga. It's very similar, and I like yoga.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm going to give it a cool as well. I've never actually done it. It's something I've been wanting to do for a long time just because there's so many benefits, like health benefits to it. So I'm going to say cool.
Yeah, really cool. Sean, if you do take it up, don't do reformer Pilates where you use a machine because that sucks.
No, I'm talking the style that Luke's talking about, the yoga.
Oh, no, do like actual traditional Pilates and it is
that's
really
what I'm talking
hard.
about.
Yeah. All right.
Really good, really hard.
We'll sign up.
Still talking about Pilates here, Brett?
Yeah.
Yeah. I'm going to say really cool. It's incredibly difficult. It's so hard.
Yeah.
Like,
Oh, the one that we did that time with the girls was not hard.
that's like general.
That was
Yeah.
like softcore Pilates.
He's talking Kardashian Pilates.
Yeah, hardcore Pilates.
Yeah, cool. Cool Pilates.
So number 4, we've got the movie Juno.
Yeah, I reckon that's cool. I reckon that's a cool movie. Yeah, that's cool. And Michael Cera playing his typical Michael Cera character.
Playing Michael Cera.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to say not cool. And I know I'm in the minority on this. I saw it once. I didn't like it. I got a feeling that I wasn't paying attention to it properly or something, and that if I watched it again, I'd probably like it because everyone else says it's so good. Like, what have I missed? I've obviously missed something.
Yeah.
But for now, it's not cool.
Yeah, cool.
Fair enough.
That's
I'm going to say cool. But it's cultish, you know? It has a cult following.
Yeah.
And I find
It's Michael
personally-
Cera, man. Like, he has that sort of vibe.
And,
But I personally find cult to be more cool than popular, which is probably why I don't like the Kardashians. I always find occult stuff has a bit more depth to it.
Yeah, fair call.
5, socks and sandals.
Not cool.
How has this even made the list?
Straight up. Although slides and socks, that's cool.
yeah, that's cool.
If there's a strap on it, though, you're just not cool.
Nah, not cool.
Man, I used to get so much shade for wearing my slides, and now everyone wears them. And I'm just like, come on, guys. You know,
Forza, right?
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
In terms of cool or not cool for that, yeah, not cool.
Yeah, socks and sandals, not cool. Slides and socks, very cool.
Yeah, socks and sandals just make me think of like a nature photographer or something like that.
German
Yeah.
tourist.
Yeah.
Bird watcher.
Bird watcher, high school teacher, yeah.
Kardashian.
Wears a lot of khaki. That's kind of the vibe I get.
All right, that's cool or not cool.
And that's the episode.
It is.
Yeah.
That's the episode. Beautiful. All right, thanks for listening, guys. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.